Hey everyone, it's Crystal from Nurture, night 3 for our wine and beauty night. I don't have any wine tonight. Instead, I decided that I might drink my dinner. I have a Caesar here. I was off work today with a cold. I'm sure lots of you have that going around in your families right now, in your households. Not so great, but I know how excited most of you are to join me this evening for this segment on fine hair. For anybody that's watching right now, I would love to know if the sound in here is good. I'm in my washroom at home with the door shut, so it's quiet, but I'm just hoping that the sound carries through just fine. So I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to get together, grab a drink. And again, if you have any questions this evening, don't hesitate to ask. Type in at the bottom here and I will be happy to answer your questions. So, this is my hair after round brushing yesterday. This is what a normal head of fine hair looks like on day 2. I would say for the average person, I'm not sure how many of you go through the process of round brushing or putting mousse in your hair or a volumizer at the root. However, it does help with the longevity of styling fine hair. So how do you know if your hair is fine? Well, typically your hair is fine if it's very flat and if it has no movement. So my whole family does have very fine hair. Doesn't have very much movement unless of course I style it with a round brush. And it usually doesn't do a lot. It doesn't curl well and it breaks very easily. So why is fine hair the way it is? Well, a lot of the times genetic also carries through to what you are experiencing at home with your fine hair. Usually they say you get it from your dad's side of the family. I'm not really sure. I haven't really looked into that much. So genetics is a big thing that contributes to how your hair is as an adult or even as a child. Food as well, depending on what your diet is, will depend on how good your hair is, if it breaks, if it's oily, if it's dry. And medication as well. A lot of medications, especially thyroid medications, blood pressure medications, and any sort of chemo will really take a tally on your hair. And if it's fine, it's even worse. It's so easy to break. So for those of you who just joined, this is me, hairstylist, on a day off from work from being sick with day 2 hair so that I can show you a few of my favorite things. We just covered why hair is fine and what fine hair is like. So if you missed that, you can go through and watch the video later. Fine hair is the way it is because it's typically a 2-layered strand. Normal hair that is of average diameter has 3 layers. I only have 2 hands, but there's 3 layers. Fine hair is actually missing one of those layers, which makes it so delicate and fine. Because it's so delicate, it does damage very easily. And there's a lot of things that you should do to make sure that your hair is healthy and that it won't break and that it doesn't get frizzy and that it doesn't stay limp. So we're going to cover all of those things tonight. A lot of this stuff can be carried through to other hair types as well, but I do find as a stylist, the majority of my guests that come in, those ones that have the most questions or the most problematic are people with fine hair. So let's get started. I do want to talk first about products and styling. So for those of you who missed the very first segment that we did, I am going to show you how to curl with a flat iron. So stay tuned. But the first and foremost thing would be your shampoo and conditioner choice. So when your hair is very fine, it will be weighed down very easily. A lot of people don't want to use conditioner on their hair because they just find it gets greasy and then they're washing it again. The biggest thing to try not to do with fine hair to get yourself into a better routine is to not wash it every day. Now, there's a lot of people out there I know that come into me even as a guest of mine and they can't not wash it. And I understand. I'm very lenient with that. I've been there. When I was a child in school, I washed my hair in the morning after school because I went to work too, so twice in a day. But of course, you're at your desk and you're running your hands through your hair, and that carries oil from your root to the end and it gets oily. But it also, when you wash every day, it also dries your scalp out, which makes your body produce more sebum, and then of course your hair's oily. There are other times through your life where you might just have a hormonal imbalance and you might end up with an oily scalp, and that's just temporary. But you can help with your shampoo and conditioner choices. If you go into your shower now and you look at the shampoo bottle and the conditioner bottle that you're using, look on the back for any sort of added paraffin, silicone, or plastics. I actually had a client once who was a chemist, and I had showed her a couple of bottles of Pantene, I think it was, or Dove, and she said the first 3 ingredients were silicone-based ingredients. So your hair might look and feel very shiny when you're using something that has these ingredients in it, but really health-wise it's very damaged because it has a lot of alcohol, and that's why they try and compensate with the waxes to make it feel and look good. So my biggest suggestion, aside from not washing it every day, when you do wash, use your Awaken by Surface shampoo and conditioner. I have these liters. My husband and I actually use these in the shower together, and they do last us about a year. They're expensive. I'm not going to lie. They're about $120 retail, but for the whole year, that's not too bad. You know you're getting a professionally backed product, and the reason that the Surface Awaken line is so great is because it's targeted towards scalp health. They also have a mask that comes separately, not in the kit or anything, but this has just enough moisture to hydrate fine ends and stimulate the scalp. So the active ingredient in this shampoo and conditioner, which make it work so good, is cayenne pepper, mint, and menthol. So if you get it in your eyes, it's gonna sting a little bit. It does go away pretty quickly. But the goal of this set is to actually stimulate the blood, moving it to the root of your hair and giving it nutrients. If it didn't have that stimulation, it would just not be as good, wouldn't be as healthy. This product line also helps your hair grow quicker and faster, and it does work. We had a couple competitions at work. We had some guests come in and we kind of recorded their results, and it works like a charm. It's definitely our best-selling line, and it's great for fine hair people. Now, I do have people back in Nova Scotia, like my mom and my cousin Caitlin. You guys were asking me specifically about a night like tonight for fine hair people, and you can't get this product at home. It's not on the East Coast, so I do apologize. I can definitely do a bulk order if you need to. Just let me know, no problem. So again, the biggest thing with fine hair, hey Jocelyn, is not washing every day. So again, this is day 2, and I'm going to show you here soon what to do to get through to day 3 or on day 2 with styling and the right products for fine hair. Okay, dry shampoo, yes. So I did mention this a couple nights ago as well with styling. It's good for anybody, really, dry shampoo. I am wearing black tonight, so this is a perfect way for you to see exactly how good this product is. Goes on completely clear. Some people use it as deodorant, which we all do at the shop. The active ingredient in this is ash. And this dry shampoo works far best than any other dry shampoo that I have tried, especially on fine hair. I do know some other stylists that I have worked with in the past who do like a Moroccan oil dry shampoo or another professional brand dry shampoo, but none of them have quite had the same type of hair as myself. Fine hair and very thin hair. So thin, you can see my scalp. That's thin when you don't have a lot of hair per diameter. So, dry shampoo is definitely a must-have, especially if you're trying to not wash every day. This will get you through. So because we're going to style my hair, I'm going to put some of this in because I have to go to work tomorrow and I don't want to wash my hair since I have this wonderful color in. So this is about how much you're going to want to use. It goes a long way. However, it needs to get in there. It also adds a little bit of texture. The nice thing about this too, at nighttime it helps refresh, and it also is best used at nighttime because you're not trying to combat how much, hey Taylor, you're not trying to combat the oil as much in the morning, and at nighttime you can kind of prevent what's going to happen in the morning. Okay, so we have the dry shampoo in my hair. This should get me 3 days, especially if on day 3 my hair is up. So a tip for all you fine-haired people, if you wash and brush with the right products and style with the right tools, you should be able to get 2 or 3 days out of your hair. Now, it might be stressful and annoying in the beginning. Hey, Helen, Mama. But it's something that you should try. Try it for a month, and I promise you, if you're using the right products and you're styling properly, that you'll get more out of your hair. Okay, so we went over a good shampoo and conditioner for your scalp and a dry shampoo. Now, body and volume, huge, 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 huge. So I have yesterday used my push powder, which I talked about and raved about. This goes in my roots when my hair is wet. Okay, you can use it in dry if you want to. I'm not going to put any in right now. So that's in my hair currently with the dry shampoo, and I also have some protein tonic. I'm going to show you right now how easy it is to curl hair with a flat iron on day 2 or even day 1 if you want, to get a really good look and added texture and volume so that it can carry you through day 2 and day 3. So if anybody has a drink, cheers to you. Thank you for joining. Oh, I love scissors, they're so good. Okay, clips or an elastic, either or work. So for those of you who missed out the other night, I'm happy that you're here and you can watch this. Okay, fine hair people, you need at least shoulder length or longer to be able to do this. You do want a decent cut, something with some layers so that the volume and the curls actually stack. You don't want curls just down here. It'll make your hair flat up here. That's what we're trying not to do. So you can do this in 2 sections, that's fine. Clips are easy, but that works too. I always forget my clips when I do these segments, but I have everything else. And no, Craig, I don't need them, it's okay. Okay, flat iron, you don't need it very high. Fine hair, remember, I said this on the first night, you want to turn your heat down. You do not want to use high heat. Everybody that has said, my hair doesn't hold curl or whatever, I have it turned up to the highest heat setting and it still doesn't work. Nope, it won't work. I learned that very early in my career, and I hope you all will try to turn your hot tools down. Okay, so you're going to take larger pieces, especially if you're just looking for some shape. If you take very small pieces, you're going to end up with a more poodle perfect-like look, if you will. Okay, I see everybody's so interested in this curling with the flat iron, so that's good. Thanks for joining. Also, this does not have to be perfect. People with very fine hair usually have very straight, limp hair that doesn't do anything. So anything at all that you can do is great. So, lower heat for final hair. Good job, Jocelyn. You're going to want to put the flat iron in. You're going to want to turn it around a complete circle so that the hair that you're holding onto comes back out the exact same side. If you want a very beachy look, you're going to leave, I would say, an inch or so of hair that's not curled on the ends, so it looks a little more messy. I can't tell you what I'm going to do tonight because I'm just going to try to whiz through it so that you guys can see a demo. And I'm going to talk. There's that hair. Pull it through. No, that's not going to work. I didn't take a good enough section. So see, even me as a professional, it's not going to work every time. You have to... Is this on? Yes, it is on. See? I'm live here, so it has to work. Anyway, you just want a little something in your hair. Now, I've been home all day in bed. I've got lots of product in here. Maybe it's not turned up high enough. I have it really low. Yeah, no, it's not turned up high enough. I have it on the lowest setting. So don't do that. You want medium. I didn't look, I just knew that it was on low. So we'll wait for that to heat up, okay? We're gonna go to something else. Now, I dried my hair with a hairdryer and a brush. Now this is something I didn't really cover the other day, but most people take this off of their dryers. And I don't know why. Maybe because they're annoying or it makes it extra long, I'm not sure. But this is a very important tool. This helps concentrate the air in one spot so that it doesn't frizz your hair up. Now with fine hair people, I mean, ideally you want the biggest hair possible, but you still want to control what you're doing. So since this piece hasn't curled yet, because my straightener was too low, I'll give you an example. So you're going to want to use your hair dryer in your right hand, round brush in the left, and again you want to master these techniques with your fingers. And I did that in the first video. So any of you who missed that, it's still on our Facebook page, go back and have a look. But when your hair is wet and you're round brushing, this nozzle stays on your hair dryer, and you don't have to touch your hair, but you want to make sure that it is close to the root and that you pull the brush either out to the side or up. You don't want to do this because this does nothing for your volume, which is coming from right up here. You're making more volume down here. You want volume up here. Okay? And of course, the size of the brush matters too. I did kind of talk about that the first day that we did this. So again, root back to the first video if you can. But I didn't want to forget to talk about the hairdryer, the nozzle, and the brush. Now, of course, you want to go through your whole head and do that with the brush so that you have movement to work with on day 2 and day 3. So let's try this again. Well, not forget the protein tonic this time. So the nice thing about the protein tonic is it can go on wet or dry. So of course we're putting this on before we blow dry, and we're also putting this on before we use any extra heat once it's already dried. So let's hope this works again. Yeah. If not, I need to buy a new flat iron. So putting it in, turning it all the way around, hair sticking out the side, pulling it down. There's a curl. Same thing with the back. Now, a lot of people do find it hard to do the back, but just do the same movements. Don't care about how perfect it is because, again, as long as your hair has some movement and some wave, that's really all that matters. I do know where I can get a flat iron, Jocelyn. We have some at Nurture. We have some perfect ones at Nurture, actually. So you do need to make sure you have a flat iron that has a heat dial. As long as they're not plain ceramic plates, I think that would be ideal. It's 2018 now. Ceramic plates were a thing of the past, that's for sure. So you've seen that took me like 2 seconds to do that side of my hair. Moving over to this side. And I said before when we started that if we take small pieces, it will look very, very perfect and prim. Most people don't really want that look. They just want a little something so that it doesn't look so flat. Ashley, hairspray afterwards or before? Well, that's a preference. I like to personally go through my hair with my fingers all day, so I don't really like a lot of hairspray. I know that when I was in hair school, we hairsprayed before we did each section. That was kind of crazy. But you can. Make sure that if you are hairspraying beforehand that you are using a good quality hairspray and not something that's really inexpensive, because I don't want anybody burning their hair off. Isn't that cute? We'll go with that. But I will do a little bit here at the end just so that you guys can see my preference of hairsprays. Okay. So this is my second section, and you see the size I'm taking. I'm not taking tiny pieces. So if you're trying to do this in the morning, it doesn't really take a long time. There might be a few pieces that you want to go over, but to just get you in and out the door and get you through an extra day without washing, really, this might take 5 minutes, maybe. Now, I have some spots in my hair that don't like to curl very well. And I think it's just the way that my hair grows. So I have no other answer. It's been like that forever. I know a lot of my hairstylist friends have certain spots too that just don't like to curl. So we're getting some volume. Your hair doesn't really even need to be brushed if you don't want to. If you by chance let it air dry and you've got good hair and you have a little bit of volume, you can just kind of perfect your curls in the morning. But if you're like me, I can't really let it air dry. It's a little too flat. So that's one side done, I would say in less than a minute. And yes, I'm a hairstylist, so I'm probably going to be a little faster than you guys, but still, it's possible. And doing it on myself versus doing it in the salon is a lot different. It's very easy when you have a head sitting in front of you. So, I mean, a good way for you guys to practice would be maybe to do it on your kids. That would be quite easy. In the back, unless you have a mirror to really look in, you're going to want to just feel for hair that doesn't seem to have any volume and grab it. And if you notice, even on TV, people don't, hey Angela, people don't always necessarily do the back of their hair. So as long as you can get as far back as possible, tweak the back with some maybe teasing or some product afterwards, you'll be fine. That's my second layer. How am I doing, people? Hopefully you can hear me okay. Now, depending on what you're going to want to do with your hair afterwards, you might decide to keep apart or maybe bring everything backwards to curl it. I'm going to do a little bit of apart because that's probably what my hair is going to want to do. And then we're going to be almost finished. So again, you're going to want to use your Surface Protein Tonic for extra protection and protein. The front pieces are probably the most important, especially if you're going to wear your hair down. Not everybody is going to have the exact same look on both sides, trust me. Because even when I'm styling my guest hair, I tell them we're not perfect even though they think we are, because we still have two different looks on both sides. And it's different when you're doing it at home. See, this piece doesn't really want to curl. But do it again, a little slower. There we go. So again, these are not perfect curls. I'm kind of leaving some of the bottom out too, so it's going to look a little bit more natural. Angela, we're doing a fine hair evening on our wine and beauty nights. Angela is one of our Surface educators here in the area. And all of our guests, Angela, were definitely interested in how to curl with a flat iron. So I'm giving them a quick demo right now on myself at home. And then we're going to continue on with some more goodies to take us up to our half-an-hour point. So you don't have to worry about getting right at the root. If you were using maybe a triple barrel, you might want to get a little closer to the root, but not when you're doing this. So we're up to 12 viewers. That's exciting. Live. How are you guys all staying warm out there? It's awfully chilly. I haven't left the house today. Last two pieces. So I don't know if anybody's timing me, but I think that was about 5 minutes. Maybe. Okay. So another really good tip for fine hair people. When you're curling, especially if you want it to stay in better, if your curls tend to fall out or your volume seems to go very quickly, let your hair cool down. When your hair cools, the curls set. So that will help. Hey, Rebecca. That will help your curls stay a little bit better. Okay? So right now, my hair is pretty much cooled. If you wanted to, you could maybe give your hair a quick dry with some cool air upside down. That will give you some more volume. Or even put it up in a clip. If you put it up in a clip, it will dry really full and your volume could possibly stay in there too. So I personally like to go through my curls once they're done, hey Brenna, with the Surface Curl Hairspray. Now this is for curly hair people because it does have some moisture properties built into the product for curly hair people because they need moisture. But I find that it's not sticky, it's just the right amount of hold, and it adds some shine. So what better than that? I do usually go over my hair with the dry shampoo again. Like I said, I love this stuff, guys. And it's because, yeah, looking good on a sick day, Brenna. I clean up really good for you people. I like this stuff so much because it adds texture to my very fine hair. It might not do much for people with coarse hair or thick hair, but it does for me. Now, that's one step. A little bit of hairspray. I like to personally, again for all my fine hair people, hold my head to the side. And when you spray, you kind of want to just little, so you're not a little too overboard with the hairspray. Now, I kind of shook my head out a little bit because I like it to look a little bit more natural. However, if you wanted to leave it very curly and very textured, we don't need to run our fingers through it at all. Maybe a little bit of hairspray, but that's it. You can just kind of shake your head out and allow the texture to stay in. So that's the flat iron curl. I hope you guys learned something. Don't leave your flat iron to zero heat. That doesn't work. Okay, so the next thing that I would do if I was home or if I was heading to work would be to tease it a little bit. Now, I'm going to show you a really, really quick updo as well that we're going to, I did this the other night, but now that my hair is done and you've seen it, you can kind of see how I get to this point. And we're going to need to back comb just a little bit. Show us the sides. Oh dear. I don't know how the back looks. Sides is in like this way. Sides. Yeah. I don't know how good, like I say, it did in the back, but I never care about the back. Thanks, Angela. So before I move on to the the teasing brush, I want to talk about, I did the brushes, I did the root product, putting it up on day 2 and 3. Okay, now, fine hair, like I said, is very, very different than your average hair type. It only has 2 layers, and that therefore it does tend to get very, it breaks very easily, and it damages very easily. So you have to make sure that you take the proper precautions to make sure that you don't end up with hair that never seems to grow, or that you can't style because it's too frizzy, or that you over color, it seems. It never seems to look right. So here's a couple tips. Number 1, your food does make a big difference. However, these guys, Sport and Costco here, do help with hair growth and stimulation. It's got lots of vitamins, but again, this all comes from your diet as well. But it does help your hair grow a little bit quicker, and it can potentially make it a little more healthy. So just a thought. I do take them, and I have people calling me. I'm going to close that. Protein and moisture. So hair is made up of 77% protein. I said this in my first video. 20% moisture, and the rest are color and lipids. Okay? So protein. You're going to want to use the Trinity line from Surface. They have a shampoo and a conditioner. Very lightweight. No moisture, no weight to it from any sort of moisture at all. No silicones, none of that. Protein tonic or the cream. I don't have the cream here. That's for your protein. They also do have One Shot, which is the highest strength protein that you can get from Surface. And it is a vegan-based protein. You don't have to worry about ever over-proteinizing the hair with Surface because of the vegan properties. If you've ever used Joico, K-Pack, or Redken, Anti-Snap, I've used these before and it's happened to me, so I'm speaking from experience. But they can make your hair very dry once you've gotten through a whole bottle. So you want to stick to a vegan-based protein line if possible. Moisture, a lot of people really don't want any sort of moisture in their hair when it's fine because it gets limp. So people tend to not use conditioner at all. Bad idea, bad idea. It will cause your hair to break. The Awaken system does have the mask, like I had mentioned. It has just enough moisture in it to make things work. And it's very nice and stimulating, and of course it helps the scalp. My second choice would be the Basu oil. So for any of you at home who are using a silicone-based oil, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to put anybody down because there are some hair types that really need those types of oil. Fine hair does not. Fine hair needs something that's silicone-free. So, as you can see, this product is like water. It absorbs into your hair almost right away, if not right away. Same as your skin. If you use it on your skin for any sort of rashes or burns or dry skin, it's gone. And that's what you want a product to do. You want it to treat inside, not outside. You don't want it to sit on the surface. So when you compare this with a silicone-based moisturizing agent or oil, this will penetrate. The silicone product will sit on the surface and slowly absorb, maybe. Anything with silicone in it can also determine whether or not your color takes well. For the most part, I would assume that hairstylists have had color issues in the past with lifting color or it just not depositing properly. So it's really important to use a clarifying shampoo if you are using silicone-based products. Just a heads up. So this would just go on whatever you can put in a ponytail from ears down. That's it. If you follow those steps, your hair should be healthy. It shouldn't break as much. If it does break, you might need a haircut. I highly recommend a haircut for anybody with fine hair at least every 2 months. And you don't need to get a lot off. Just take off a ½ an inch so that those split ends don't keep splitting and breaking. Because once those split ends are split, if they're not cut, it just breaks and breaks and breaks and breaks and breaks. And then you feel like your hair never grows. The other thing is, when your hair reaches your shoulders, it moves, right? There's friction here. So a lot of times people with fine hair do feel like their hair doesn't get past their shoulders. And honestly, I've been there, but I think or thought at that point that in order to do so, have long hair, you have to not cut it. But that's not the case. You really want to try to maintain at least a regular haircut every 2 months if possible. The last tip, I guess, for the night would be silk pillowcases. Probably the best investment that I've made in the last year. If you think about it, pillows made of cotton, they don't really allow your head to move around a lot, and you're doing that throughout the night, which creates friction, which can create breakage, right? So anything that you can sleep on that is silky and that can move around will allow your hair to stay a little healthier. It won't create as much friction. It won't take the moisture from the hair, which is what cotton does as well. So we do sell some of those at the shop. We can special order them in. However, we do have a lady in Blackfalds that makes not silk, satin. No, it's silk pillowcases. Her name is Jeanette, and they're beautiful pillowcases, and she's part of our Shop Local initiative at the shop. So at Nurture, we do have a couple of local artisans that come in and we stock their product on our shelves. So she's one of them with the silk pillowcases. Okay, before I get into my very last step for the evening so that we can wrap up before it's too late, I'll see if there's any questions that would like to come in, and I can maybe go over those with you. But for now, I want to just put a little bit of volume in my hair so I can show you the next step. So I will wait for questions to come in. If you haven't done this before at home, you don't really need to do a lot. 2 little taps is really enough. And this is just going to create some shape and some volume for a little quick updo that I like to do. You can do this with a comb as well. You can even do it with your fingers. And of course, we all hate the back. So without looking at my curl job, there is a point back here where everybody's hair splits. And it's called the point of distribution when you're learning in school. Everybody has that spot. Everybody's hair is a whirl back there. Some people have it worse than others because they've got a double crown. So if you don't have a double crown, count yourself lucky. So we're just going to do a little tiny bit there. If you really wanted to go over that with some hairspray, you could. But I'm going to be going bit to bed here soon, so I'm not going to put any hairspray in. But you just want to get enough around so that the sides are full and the back's full. You could even just wear your hair like this if you wanted to finish off the look, right? Looks good. My new favorite thing for day 3 hair, for fine hair people, is the headband. I love this thing. I have several of them. Other headbands seem to not stay on my head, but these ones are great. Why? You can put this on, flip the back of your hair up and inside this, and your hair is done. It takes 2 seconds. So, this is how we go. Now you can get most of these headbands at Ardene's or Claire's or maybe even Walmart or the dollar store. Put the headband on, take out what you can so that you have a little bit of good shape here. Okay, with a brush, preferably. Okay, there. I mean, that looks good. I've never really wore it like that because I kind of felt funny, but I always like the look of it. Any extra tips? Hey, Winter, I was talking about you the other day on one of my videos. Long, fine hair girls to keep the curls in all day. Yes, especially seeing you. I hope your hair is working out good since we thinned it out a little bit. But for people with long hair, you know, long hair, I think I have long hair, but I don't. You want to make sure that you have a cut that has some structure to it. No layers are a little hard because you have too much weight pulling the hair down. Clarifying shampoo, especially to remove any extra weight possible. Thinning the hair out so that it does have that movement that I was talking about. Without any movement, it's just too heavy. So if you haven't really thinned your hair out in the past, trust your stylist to do a little bit at a time. If you're brand new to your stylist, be happy with a little bit. Don't get them to go crazy because they can overdo it and then you're going to be really unhappy too. You probably need a hairspray that is a little bit more of a hold, Winter, for anybody with long hair or thick hair. And likely a styling aid perhaps could help. Maybe some mousse or some gel. But you want to make sure that it is professional, not cheap, because it's going to dry your hair out. And try using that setting product first when your hair is wet, and then go into the dry products, which would be maybe some powder or some hairspray. I hope that helps a little bit. Okay, or triple barrel, which I did bring in. This is awesome. It's a little bit much, but if you started maybe from the temples down, it can look very nice. Break it up with a little bit of shaping wax if possible, if it's not too heavy on your hair. Or some Velcro rollers are really good too. You just have to sit under a dryer for Velcro rollers. It can take a while. Okay, we're going to finish up with this. So headbands in, we have some back combing done on the top. We're going to take these pieces right here. We're going to wrap them around and stick them in the side. You could probably even do, not that I've done it, but you could probably do a half a look. Right? Looks pretty good. That's part of a look, but you keep going. Again, for people with day 3 hair where you're trying not to wash it, you're trying your hardest. I'm going to do my best here to show you guys how quick and easy this is. Dun, ta-da! Ta-da! I hope you can see that. I hope it's a good job. Some people might have some shorter pieces through the back. You might need some bobby pins, possibly. If you do need some bobby pins, take and put them in up or down and maybe lock them on the sides to keep the back pieces in. And then a little hairspray. But I mean, this is really, really cute. Like Alyssa said, it's easy to do. And depending on what your headband looks like, I mean, you can do anything. I did purchase a brown headband that was a braid at Claire's. And Audrey, you know what? I have no occipital bone back here. That's why my head's flat right here. But if you get one of these that have the really tight, like have the really tiny bands on them, they're not going to move. It doesn't move. And this one actually has like a felt underneath. So it kind of sticks to you. It doesn't move at all. But I do have issues too with things typically moving on me. If you can try some bobby pins and get them locked into place and lock them together in an X, it shouldn't move. Like that. So that's tonight. That wraps up the evening. I'm going to finish my Caesar here. Cheers to all of you who have joined. Tomorrow evening, I get to have the night off. We'll be back on Tuesday next week. And for many of you, do you think it would work with my undercut? This, you know what? It probably would. You would just have to, yes, it would. As long as your undercut doesn't go above your occipital, which it shouldn't. So most stylists know that it shouldn't go above your occipital. It should work. For any of those who are joining us this evening, we have the full month lineup on the Nurture Salon and Spa Blackfalds Facebook page. And it's every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings, starting at 8 o'clock. And I have a large array of topics that we are going to be discussing. So I hope that we can help you out in the beauty department. And I look forward to chatting with you all again next week on Tuesday. Stay warm and enjoy your weekends.